Hi Jake, nice to see you again.
That's me.
14 years in football and 5 years in coaching. What made you fall in love with football in the first place?
So, for me, I think football's the best sport in the world. Granddad's played it, Dad's played it. Both have made me grow up watching it, and then I would say that through growing up watching it and playing it, it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
What made you go into the coaching side of it rather than the actual playing side?
So, I realised from a young age, from probably about the age of 10 or 11, I was never good enough to play. And I've known that. And then from about the age of 13, by doing coaching camps and stuff like that, I've been coaching since I was 13, doing sport holiday camps, and then being probably the thing I reckon I'm best at, I then developed being a better coach, and then since then all I want to do is coach players and make them better, make them the best player they can be.
Do you feel like you get a reward out of coaching people and making them improve? Do you get a kick out of that rather that you wouldn't get if you were playing football?
For me, from the younger ages, yeah, 100%. So, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s and upwards up until about 16s. The development side of it and seeing a child maybe do a new skill in a match or score a goal and give a celebration with you or anything like that. Seeing a smile on their face, then I think put a smile on your face and you realise why you do it.
So, is there any particular role models you have within football coaching that you aspire to be like? And do you take any tips from them or try to follow what methods and techniques they use?
Yeah, no, I do. For me, I haven't got any direct role models, but I think when you watch football and you see different managers and growing up with different managers and coaches, you take bits that you like and that you don't like. So for me, I think having a great bond with your players, being enthusiastic, getting involved in sessions as well. I think I've taken that from different coaches and tried to make my own coaching style from taking influences from other people.
Have you had any experiences with a particular team slash group of players that you felt like you've been able to fully show your techniques that you've learnt?
For me, I feel like you're always developing. So I feel like I've worked at academy level and I've worked with under 10s there. And I would say probably for me that's where I've probably grown the most over the whole of my coaching journey so far. So for me, seeing players respond to your style of coaching and not respond to your coaching as well from 10-year-olds, then I've had kids that have had handshakes with me, done their celebrations with me, and they've really engaged with me. And I've had other players that they're a bit more standoffish, and maybe because I'm probably maybe too enthusiastic sometimes. And then that's learning then when I can be enthusiastic and when not to be. And then now I'd say I'm probably learning more as a manager again from doing under 16s and helping out with the university football team. So now I'm getting more 11-a-side practices in. So I'm now learning how do I incorporate my sessions to an 11-a-side game, because all my other sessions have always been 7-a-side training, going into 7-a-side matches, 9-a-side matches. Because even if you were doing my under 16s, you only get 12 turn up to training, so you can only ever do 6-a-side training. Whereas with the university team, I can do a whole squad training, 11-a-side, and really get in what I believe my own philosophy, and that's what I do.
So I want to take you back to the start of that answer. So you said you was working at academy and with children. Is there any particular challenges that you've faced when you've been working with kids?
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing I learned is not all kids respond to the same way.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm asking someone to run or track back and get back into position, 8 out of the 10 kids it worked for. The 2 kids it doesn't work for, I at first couldn't understand why you wouldn't do it. I thought it was just them being lazy. Well, actually, is it something that I'm doing wrong? So for me, it was, and actually they didn't respond to that way. So maybe it's the wording and maybe the way I say things needed to be developed. Also, I think parents are probably the biggest challenge.
So more so than the kids?
More so than the kids. The kids, they laugh, they joke, they respond to things. That if they play half football, then only 1.5, or 2 quarters out of the 4 quarters, they don't mind. They're there to play football and have fun with their mates. Parents on the other side, especially at more of the academy level, so when it gets competitive, and I think parents get egos above the players, and I think parents then don't understand why kids are starting or why they're not starting, and actually maybe it's because for a better cause. and so parents have always been my biggest challenge.
So then we move on to, like, you say you've been coaching at a university team. Like, how does that differ to working with kids? Like, because obviously they're older, they're more mature. But is there any different challenges you faced?
Egos, definitely egos within the people you coach. I think the bonus I've got with our university team that I coach, my university team that I coach, I feel that because I am a football coach and I think that I'm good at what I do, people do listen.
Okay.
And I have managed to get that respect. I think if I was to coach at a higher level, I wouldn't get that. But the difference between the young players and the university team is you get people who chat back to you. So it's now then, okay, they're not wrong in what they're saying back to you, or if they are wrong, but it's the way that you engage with those players, because when it gets to the university level or gets to like an adult level, people talk. So the kids don't realise if you were alienating one player. The kids don't know that. But if you were alienating one of the players in the sixes, for example, then they would notice that's what you're doing, and that would then cause a divide in the team that you don't want.
So what I want to ask, what do you feel the most rewarding thing about coaching football is?
The youngsters, it's 100% seeing the development over the course of the season. So for me, I wouldn't say I inherited the best technical or tactical under-10s that I've ever coached, but I think we developed them into a team that became a winning team. So from August to November, our results were very mixed matched. So maybe win 1 week, losses for the next 2 weeks, and then from November onwards, we never lost. So for me, that shows a development in the kids and showing that they're technically getting better, tactically getting better, and you can see that development. I think when he gets older, I think the reward for me is then the win. I think the 3 points is what you always set out to get, and I think the 3 points is always the most rewarding. And then if you do lose games, it's how you lose games. So okay, have you lost a game because we were awful, and the other team were awful, but because we were so bad did we lose, or actually did we try 100%, but the team were just so much better? So for me, the rewards at different ages. So seeing, like I said, the youngsters, seeing development for the older lot, it's the winning, the points.
So you seem like quite passionate about football coaching. Has that got in the way of any other relationships within your life?
Yeah, I would say so. I think that the time you've got to commit to football without having. So for me, I've never played at a good enough level to make my own contacts. So any contacts I have made or any development I've made within my coaching has all been off my own back. So for me, that's down to the time and commitment that I've made. I think relationships in terms of the friends, I don't spend any time really with my friends because I'm all the time coaching. I think other relationships in life need to understand that that's your passion, and some people have had that, some people have got that and understood that, other people haven't. And I think that parents also aren't always the most supportive when you say that you want to be a football coach, because to them it's as likely being a professional football player. So yeah.
So that literally leads me perfectly on to, have you felt like your family have supported you in going into football coaching, because it is quite a demanding industry to get into?
I think at the start I would say no. I would say that I've always told to have a backup, and it's good advice because you do need a backup. But for me, I can live with myself if I never give it 100%. So if I give it 100% and I don't make it any further than, let's say, the semi-pro, I'm happy with that because I know I gave it my all and I was never good enough, and that's fair enough. But for me, so at the start, parents were never that supportive. But since I've made progress, and I believe that because I've made progress, I've started making them to see that actually it could be a full-time job somewhere in football for me.
So where in the coaching football pyramid would you like to reach to consider your career in sport success?
If it was coaching, a full-time job would be success for me. So long as I've got a full-time job in performance analysis, coaching, managing, that's success. If it's managing, then for me it's coaching, managing at the semi-pro league. So we're talking like the Vanarama Conference or the Vanarama North and South. And for me, I've made it in managing. If that was to be the professional side of it, if it was academically, then it'd be getting a full-time role as a manager at a university first team, or in America being a college first team manager. So a full-time job for me.
So just go off the back of that, you say America. Is there any like in particular that would draw you to America rather than like just to stay in this country?
I think this is where football's going. I think the money's over there. I believe that it's a nice place to live in terms of weather. You don't have to coach in the rain every Wednesday. You can go and coach in the sun. I think that the sport is more part of their life than it is in our country. And for me, obviously, football's my passion and I love it. So why wouldn't I want to go and live in a country where football is someone else's life and passion, and it's within their lives?
So would you say that achieving a career in football coaching is your main priority in life?
For me, 100%. I think you've got to love what you do in life, and it's not all about money. But I think there's a lot to be said about job satisfaction and working behind a desk on a computer. Unless it's to do with football, I've got no interest working behind a desk. So being outside in the cold or sun, coaching, that's all I want to do.
Thank you very much for your time.
Cheers, thank you very much.